So I'm sitting on the jet last night, and I'm just running it back in my head. Keep hearing those squeaky little words that came out of Bron Breaker's mouth, running his mouth, talking about a whole bunch of stuff that he just don't understand, you know? And I told myself, man, we can keep doing this. We can just keep going out. We can brawl every single week. But these boys think they're the future. And the only way to really become the future and become who you think you are is by capturing the moment. And you can't do that only on Mondays. Nah, you got to do it at the big PLEs. You got to do it at the Summerslams, at the Royal Rumbles, at the Manias. That's how I've made my career. That's how I've made my living. And sees that none of us are in title matches. We don't really have much going on. So I'm going to go ahead and extend the offer. If main event Jey Uso, the Yeet Man himself, would trust me one last time. I loved it last night. I love standing shoulder to shoulder, taking on anybody. I love doing that with my family. If he'll trust me and accept this challenge with me, I say we take on the Brons, Bron Breaker and Bronson Reed at Summerslam. With the dumbass in their corner, they can have him. We don't need him no more. You ain't got much time.
Paul Heyman, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Everywhere.
Well, I am. Good to see you. SummerSlam is coming up. I saw a video that Roman Reigns posted on his social media putting out a challenge. I want to know your thoughts about this challenge.
My thoughts? Well, Roman Reigns has picked his poison. Now Roman Reigns can pick the date. Saturday or Sunday, it doesn't matter to us. Bron Breaker and Bronson Reed accept the challenge of Roman Reigns and Jey Uso for SummerSlam. Welcome to my island of relevancy. And right over the bridge in New Jersey, we'll leave them both buried next to Jimmy Hoffa.
So is this official?
Is it official? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. If I say it, it's biblical, bitches.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the YouTube world, CJ Rose's back in the building. Welcome back to the channel. Well, you heard it from the tribal chief. You heard it from the oracle, Paul Heyman. His challenge was issued, challenge accepted. At SummerSlam, for the first time since WrestleMania, we are getting the tribal chief, the head of the table, the big dog, the OTC. Roman Reigns in action. He'll team up with his cousin, main event Jey Uso, as they take on Bron and Bronson, Bronson Reed, and Bron Breaker. So, as I said in the Gunther CM Punk preview video, that I'm sure this is a plan B from the original plan. Because I'm sure we were supposed to have... I know we were supposed to have a match with Roman and Rollins. But seeing as how this whole Rollins is hurt thing seems very iffy at this point. I don't know what to think. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But considering with this whole... Rollins injury thing, I think a lot of plans have been kind of moved here, moved there, you know. So we're getting this. It still makes sense though. It still makes sense regardless of anything. It still makes a lot of sense of a match to make because both Roman and Jey have had their problems with Bronson and Braun. Well, Roman's had technically problems with Bron Breaker. I mean, I guess he had problems with Bronson Reed too, dating all the way back to last year. So I guess in some sense, it still works in this way. All right, so we go back all the way to WrestleMania, where this whole thing fully got started, where it was the night one main event between three of the biggest stars in WWE, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. And the biggest factor of this whole entire match was Paul Heyman. try to figure out what part does Paul Heyman play in this, and it pretty much showed, because he turned his back on CM Punk, turned his back on Roman Reigns, sided with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins won the night one main event. Then Rollins goes out the next night and calls himself the future of the business and the best in the business. CM Punk and Roman Reigns tried to stop Rollins that night, but both were stopped by Seth Rollins' new associate, Bron Breakker. Thus began this Rollins, Paul Heyman, Bron Breakker thing. Over the course of time, Bronson Reed eventually joined that Saturday night's main event a couple of months ago, as well as Seth Rollins became Mr. Money in the Bank. So a lot was in place for Seth Rollins to become what he said he was going to be, and that was the man. But of course, at Saturday night's main event a couple weeks ago, Seth Rollins did indeed hurt himself. I don't know if he did or did not. I don't know, right? But from what I've seen, it looked like Seth Rollins indeed hurt himself. And Seth Rollins will be sidelined for some time. So a lot of things had to be maneuvered, which will include CM Punk now focused on the World Heavyweight Championship, while Roman Reigns and Jey Uso are focused on Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker. Yeah. I do find it funny, though. Because last year, Roman Reigns lost the title at WrestleMania 40, made his return at SummerSlam, and then his first match back was a tag team match, as he teamed up with Cody to take on Solo and Jacob. This year, same thing. His last match was WrestleMania 41. He reappears last week, and his first match back will be a tag team match. I just love how that works. But yeah, Jey Uso pretty much has been involved in this whole entire thing since he was the World Heavyweight Champion. When he won that title at WrestleMania 41, I want to say 2 weeks after. Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks after, Seth Rollins challenged him. And from there, Jey Uso was getting involved and helping Sami Zayn, who was also another person that was involved in this whole Seth Rollins thing. Now Sami Zayn legit focused on Karrion Kross, who just beat him this past Monday. Karrion Kross was his first win in a year. Let's go. His first win on TV in a year. Let's go. So yeah, here we are with this. I kind of wanted more. I kind of wanted to see Roman Reigns versus Bron Breakker 1-on-1. I ain't gonna lie to you. That match would have. I would have loved to see that more, because that's a match I actually been wanting to see for a while now. Bron Breakker versus Roman Reigns. Hell yeah. I don't know if we're gonna get that match at any point, but we're getting this, so all right, cool. See, the thing about this match now is with this whole Seth Rollins thing, and we don't know how long he's going to be out. Nobody knows anything, right? Nobody knows anything. The thing with this whole match now is what happens after? Like, does this become, do we get a rematch of this match? Do we go to singles matches after this? Like, what happens after SummerSlam? You know what I'm saying? That's my thing. Like, what happens after SummerSlam? You know, I guess depending on what depending on what happens at SummerSlam. Yeah, I guess probably what happens after SummerSlam, we won't know really the direction of anything. Because I can't tell you what happens with Roman Reigns after this. And I damn sure can't tell you what happens with Jey Uso after this. I can't, bro. I can't. That's probably the one person I'm more concerned with than anybody in this match. What happens with Jey Uso? You know? Because with Jey, it's like, to me, I feel like Jey Uso needs a reset. I feel like he does. I feel like he needs a reset. I feel like he needs to be doing something else. The problem is, no matter where he goes, whether Raw or SmackDown, he's helping a family member. You gotta think about it like that. Like, I was thinking about it in my mind, like, yo, Jey may need to go to SmackDown. You know, Jimmy's on Raw now because his wife Naomi is the Women's World Champion, even though we haven't seen Jimmy yet. But I'm sure that move will happen at some point. But to me, I'm kind of like, man, Jey may have to go to SmackDown, man. He needs a reset bad. Like, challenge for the United States Championship. Who's the United States Champion at this moment? Oh, never mind. Solo. Never mind. I can't do that. Never mind. I can't think about it. Because if he does that, then he's... If he does that, then he's challenged. Then he's still going after his family. And even if he wasn't going after the United States Championship, I can guarantee you he would be involved in the Solo Jacob feud. He would be involved in some way. In some fashion, he would be involved. It's like we have nothing better for Jey to do but always be involved in his family. This man literally said in 2023, I'm done with my family. It's just me, Oos, day one-ish. That's what he said. That's what he said. And he has not done... He barely has done any of that. He barely has had any type of space to even breathe for himself. It's crazy. It's nuts. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens with Jey. I guess we'll see what happens with everybody, but you know, there's an interesting statistic here. Since Roman came back last year after WrestleMania 40, Roman's only had from SummerSlam last year to now, he's only had 6 matches. 6 matches. I believe he's only had one one-on-one match since. Yeah, he's only had one one-on-one match. Because he had the tag team match with Cody against Solo and Jacob at Bad Blood. Then he had the 6-man tag match with him and the Usos versus Jacob, Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Solo. Then he had War Games at Survivor Series. Tribal Combat on the Raw on Netflix premiere. The Royal Rumble. And WrestleMania. He's only won 3. 3 out of the 6. So he's 3-3 since coming back last year. So the odds are kind of in a 50-50 way for Roman and Jey to win this match. But I do have Roman and Jey winning. I do have them winning. And again, just all figures out. I just got to figure out what happens after. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going to happen at SummerSlam. I can only predict the winner. What happens after is what happens after. You know what I'm saying? I can't think of what happens here. Can't think what happens there. I just know for a real fact that I got Roman and Jey winning. What happens after? We'll figure that out. But that's it. That's all I got for that. And it is what it is. So until then, it's been Rose, man. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the love support as always. SummerSlam is next weekend. It's next weekend. We have 10 matches. I would like for them to have more than that. So that way we can have the Women's United States Championship on SummerSlam. And it would be the first time we have every singles championship in WWE on the line on a show. I already know the tag titles are not going to make it based on what I'm seeing with the tag team division for both Raw and SmackDown. The tag titles are not going to make it, which is fine. It's just, let's get all the singles titles at least. You know what I'm saying? When the Women's United States Championship has not been defended on a pay-per-view yet. We got to change that. We got to change that. Hopefully we do at some point. But it is what it is, man. So until next time, peace, love, 100. Here.